Testing 1, 2, and 3. MMTs are here to make a market on the opening bell. And the opening bell is going to happen in about 15 minutes. There are very quick markets made off of there in price action. Bounce like these 369s. This is a Google trade late day, and we're using that 369 breakout. What we're looking at in the pre-market futures is that the Dow is only +2. The markets are up toward the overbought areas. They've been sliding the bids for Monday and Tuesday. Today is Wednesday. Today we mark as the 2.5 day structure right in the mid zone of it. Price action market is 2.5 days out of 5. So therefore, what we would be looking for is these 369s. See how these reversal bars yesterday were? Okay. And yesterday, during the actual intraday, you got very shallow breakouts off of the lows. They were very weak lows. And in your SMF platform, your ratios would have reflected that weak price movement. Yeah, there were trading, but they were not vibrant, meaning that when they pulled back, they failed. And they failed in your platform using the SMF half bar system, and you would find that in your info panels. Now, what we're going to be looking for is that the market on the top side, with the news that came out today, we had some news that came out, some economic news, and they liked it. And the S&P right now is $1.60. NASDAQ futures versus fair value are +530. The dollar has paired some of the morning gain, so that is now up just 0.2% against a basket of competing currencies. Stock futures have responded by making a modest move higher. And they have. But you don't see in the pre-market MMTs, you don't see a lot of pre-market equity price action movement, meaning that the market is still ripe for profit taking. And if they're not coming off of that bottom and they're sliding half of that price action bar, hey, you got to be getting short, because your platform tells you to. And we started Monday and Tuesday out that way, and now the morning opening bell is going to come. And that shift in power action, and what do I mean by that? Price action momentum. Price action momentum is a very key element to getting your breakouts. And you want your breakouts to look like the breakdowns. These are nice shorts. This is what MMTs do. You break half of that bar, bam, slide that bid, bam, bam. Now, yes, yesterday I did a special on Google on several mini series of dealing as a market maker in these options, and they got these things from 22.5 down to 14.20, and that's a 610 call. And what I'm going to be looking for is, the price action momentum isn't there. Well, I have to do small contracts. I also know that I'm going to put some of these out here at 12.80 on 5. And I'm going to load the bid. That's a wholesale market below the market. MMTs. Bam. 610 call, buy 5 at that price. I'm coming up to the 1360 area on 5. There it is. 610 call, 13.60. Now, just remember, MMTs, this is not a retail operation. This is a market maker operation. And this is the wholesale underside of this market at these price action. Bam. So now, what are we doing? We're lining that bid. But we also know that the name here, both on the Google and the Apple, because here's that pre-market move on Apple. It's nice. You got a 316.8 close. So you already got a gap in play. one of the things in price action is you want that gap burning, that price action burning. And so basically the contracts from yesterday's high down here, these are oversold area in here. However, I did line the bid. I did line the bid below the market. And we can review our orders right here. We've got 5 at 1280. We got 5 at 1360 on that 610 call. So here, let's get this out of the way. But let us not forget, we can also bid in. We can also line that bid right here on 5 at 14. So I'll say 14.50. That's $2 below the current price. That way, I'm lining the bid for the open. And what I will do after that is I'll come back and then I will start using different exchanges. Meaning that I'll let PHS see that I'm a buyer. But after the opening bell, I'm going to come back, and then what I'll do is I will preference these orders out over here. I'll use PHS. I'll throw some out on PSE. That way they can't all see everything. I do like to create, though, knee-jerk reactions, because when people see the prices, they say, wow. So that's working that bid. That's called line in the bid. Line that bid. Now, if Google and Apple are strong on the pullbacks and they got price action momentum in the brain, then that makes it for a nice buying opportunity. So that is the pre-market as far as gauging your NASDAQ futures and your S&P futures. They're flat in my view. I don't see any real robust gap. I don't see any robust gap, but we'll see where they take these price action levels. Okay, we've got about 9 minutes to the opening bell. It is 9:21 Eastern Time and 6:21 Pacific Standard Time. The date, just so all MMTs know, happens to be 11/10. And what we're going to be looking at is that price action momentum and the wholesale market. And that means a wholesale market on a lot of things. Here's a nice 620 call. They slammed it down off of 1480 high. We're getting down and looking at where these wholesale pricing controls are going to be intraday. We'll also be looking at the 630 put to see how the 630 put is trading relevancy against the 610 call. So you've got a 610 call that's deep in the money, and you also have a 630 put that is in the money because the equity itself closed at 624.82. And I have seen prices as low this morning as 620.75. And that would be drop the bid. Then you would get price action, and you're looking for that left elbow, that little left elbow gap down, and you burn in price on half of that price action bar. Bam, you buy, and you let them go. And then that momentum will be confirmed in your platform. Good luck, MMTs. The broader market, as I said, it's been a short all of Monday and Tuesday, and they've been sliding them bids. And that's what I said. That's how I started Monday out, was slide the bid. They torpedo up, and they come down. The amount of depth in the downtrends yesterday, the depth, the steepness, the loss in price action is good for this short side. So you get your teenies down, and you get your price action down. You make your money. You become successful. MMTs, enjoy your day.